This is going to be an exciting video because I think most of us are facing this struggle, and most of us who have been doing something have already faced through this obstacle just like me. When I started off my whole journey, one of the biggest monsters that I had to face was email marketing, email systems. I had no frameworks. I had no idea what to talk to people. I had no idea how to nurture a list, how to nurture a lead, how to what headlines to use, what headlines not to use. So we are not talking about those things here, but then this is just a framework that I'm going to give you. This particular video's topic is what 4-set email sequence to nurture your cold audience. And I had zero idea how to set audience and what should go first, what should go second, what should be the 5th mail, what should be like the 10th mail, how should you repurpose it, how should you retarget it. It was like a huge ballgame altogether, and like biggest monster that I ever faced, like Godzilla sort of a thing, Emailzilla or something, Emailzilla probably. And I have to come across that, and I was just making this like, how can the experience that I have, how can the experience that even the members that I have, and how the experience of my mentors have, how can you concise everything together and piece it in 4 sets, set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4, in 4 set basis model that can go out for you in like 10 minutes. That was an inspiration for me to even talk about this video, write this video. And to be very honest, even I was struggling. I had a lot of struggles, and one of the struggles that I had was email marketing. Like, what should go first? What should go second? That's like literally the framework that I was struggling with. That was an inspiration for me to record this for you, because you're going to face this, if not today, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. So this is going to be a challenge for you. That challenge is now being sorted in this one asset that I'm creating for you. How to nurture your cold audience in 4-set email sequence. And that being said, now, thank you so much for joining in. We are going deep into 4 different sets. Probably this will be like 10-minute video as usual, but it is going to give you insane amount of results, clarity, and focus. FCS. Focus, commitment, and shared will. John Wick sort of a thing. Anyways, now cold audience, assuming they just made to your list. The whole definition of list and lead, this is going to be a tactical video where I'm kind of assuming and focusing on you, where you are already aware of all the gig technologies, not technology, gig terminologies, and now you started to have what? List. You started to have people inside your list for the first ever time. Okay, so what do you talk in 4 different set sequences that we're going to talk about? Remember this word, these terminologies: W, V, B, and L. Okay, those are like 4 different frameworks for you. 4 different words with an abbreviation. The first set is the welcome sequence. Okay, now welcome sequence. The moment someone registers for your masterclass, webinar, workshop, whatever you're doing, okay, when someone does that, once you have that name, email ID, what do? The first thing, not the second thing, the first thing you do, you send them the details of what they have registered for. The details goes like this: the detail of the webinar, the topic, the secrets that they're going to share, the time of the webinar, the day of the webinar. I've specifically kept out date. You don't have to use the word date, because if you use the word date, every time you run an ad campaign, what happens is we are working on automations, not manually. We're not working on manual stuff. If you mention the date, every time you have to go out and keep on changing the date in your email list. You don't have to do that. So mention a day, and when you mention a day, keep the day recurring, so that every Monday you're doing it, every Wednesday you're doing it, every Friday you're doing it. So when you mention the day, what happens is it's like, okay, you don't have to work on auto, you don't have to change the date all the time, and also it's a plus point for them. Okay, Monday you're having a webinar, or Wednesday you're having a webinar, or whatever that is. They get to exactly the details, topic, secrets that you're going to share, time, day, what else? Okay, you just send them. Okay, great to have you on board. These are details, and most importantly, share the link of it, because when you have a Zoom meeting on a recurring basis, the link stays the same. You can post this like an hyperlink or something like that, and boom, give it to them. That goes in your welcome sequence. Your welcome sequence consists of probably 1 to 3 mails. Like one goes immediately, the details of it. Second goes immediately. That can, if you have got like free resource that you've got like a PDF or a YouTube channel or podcast, that there are content ready to consume, you can send them there the mail too. Mail number 3 can be more on the lines of how can they connect to you. Again, the best way to helping them to connect to you is push them to your YouTube channel or a podcast, or these two places are the best ones. Probably if you're doing planning to do one-to-ones for free, you can pitch them directly over there. So that way, I not knew one-to-one could come here. You can pitch them. Okay. And one more thing which is very critically important in step number 1 is tell them exactly how to go about it. When they receive a mail, tell them algorithm is a funny thing. It's like a weird little funny thing that can put your all the way mails all the way to your promotional side and probably social side and not hit the primary focus. What you do is give them instructions in your funnel itself, where the moment they register it, or probably the first mail, or probably the funnel page, make sure that you give them the instruction is how can they drag and drop the mail from primary social folder to, you can make a GIF or something and post it immediately on the funnel page of exactly what they want to do. Okay, that closes the welcome sequence. We move to set number 2 is value sequence. Now this value sequence can go forever. It literally can go forever. It's like the cold list, it can never die. The more you create content on the front end for free, the bigger the sequence is going to be when it comes to value sequence. Value sequence is one of the most important sequences where you get to share your cold audience with the content that's more relevant, that's more concerning, that it could be the burning problems they are facing, and you can place it as a priority over there. Point number 1, you can send them to your YouTube videos on a daily basis, on a frequent basis, on a regular basis. The more you create content on the front end on your YouTube channel, you can take the link, put here, automate it. That's the best way of the long-term version of creating value sequences. Now, think about what is so important for them to consume it immediately for like day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. The more you can come up with, okay, this is what you're going to face now, I'm going to give you this. This is what you're going to face now. You become the genie of your cold audience. Like you are expecting what they want and you're making a list of those problems. Based on those lists, you're creating content on podcasts, on YouTube channel, writing blogs on it. What do? You take the link from there, and this way you are cross-talking your all platforms. The easiest way to grow subscribers, the more you run advertisements, the more people you can get inside the list, you can divert them there. From that place, from your emails, you can bring them to your webinars, you can sell them a course, you can get them inside your community, you can start making money, and you can do wonders with that. Okay, so list on 10 problems that they are potentially facing, make content around that, integrate it, see the magic working. Okay, tag them in your mailing list. That goes as set 2. I'm going to give you a framework like how should you exactly place mails towards the end of this one video, but then stay with me. This can go forever. Set number 3 talks about the bridge sequence. Now, bridge sequence is going to be a funny one. It's similar to the value sequence, but it's a different form. In bridge sequence is more on the lines of how can they connect to you. Okay, it's more on the lines of the personal bond, that the connection that you want to build. In this mail, you can again send them to your YouTube channel and ask them to subscribe. You can bring them to your Instagram page or Facebook group that you've got, or a free network where you can probably a group that you have having for all just for cold members. You can separating the members from and the cold members, where you can send them. Okay, you can be a part of this group where we do a lot of cool stuff, but that's separate for the people who don't pay. Okay, where you can share your social links so that they can connect with you. That was bridge sequence. And the 4th set is all about the logical sequence. Now, in logical sequence, what do I mean by logical sequence is their next logical step. What's the next logical step? Now we're specifically talking about what? Cold audience. Now that we are talking about cold audience, the logical step for them is what? Once they come inside your list, you take them from the list and bring them to your webinar. That's what they registered for in the first place itself. Nothing else. That's the logical. That's point number 1. And the subtopic is also one logical step is that. The second logical step for them could be a YouTube video that's more relevant as a slash to the webinar. You send them there as well. What happens in logical sequence is you're directing their focus to the next logical step. That way, you can bring people to your webinars. You can start bringing people to your YouTube and podcast or blogs. You're just directing the flow somewhere or the other. That brings us to the conclusion of this series. Set number 1 was welcome sequence. Set 2 was value sequence. Set 3 was bridging sequence. Set 4 was logical. W, V, B, L. Now, how do you go about this? The thing that I mentioned, how do you go about this? Day 1, have welcome sequence. Day 2, start having value emails, value sequences for 3 days. Send them YouTube for 3 days. The 4th day, the day 1 is this day 0 becomes your welcome. The moment they join, day 0. Day 1, day 2, day 3 goes for what? Value sequence. Day 5 goes as a bridge sequence where you say, okay, join on my YouTube channel or my Facebook or whatever that is. Day 6 becomes what? The 6th day becomes your logical sequence. Come join the webinar that I'm going on specific day, 16th. And the loop starts back again. You don't send them back to YouTube. You don't send them back to the welcome sequence because they've already come to that road. But the loop starts from value mail. You send them to a different video, bridge, logical, different video, bridge, logical, different video. And the loop cycles like this. So the key point is the more you have YouTube videos, the more you have podcasts for free, the more you can have sequences set here. That brings us to the conclusion of this video. Now I'm going to record another video. Probably you can find it on the YouTube channel, how to nurture your warm audience. Now that you have nurtured your cold audience, now people know who you are. Now we move on to the warm audience. Thank you so much for making this video / podcast a part of your day and the topic a part of your day. I'm going to see you in another cool video.
ترجل بصوت وخيل فما لك في الأرض درب صاحب